Namaste and welcome. I am Vidyadhar, systems engineer, educator, and the creator of Pragma Sophy network. In this 30-minute video, I will present you the core concepts of Pragmasophy. You are brilliant. Humanity is brilliant. We have split the atom, mapped the genome, and created digital minds. But ask yourself this: is the world coherent? Our technological power is advancing at the speed of light, while our moral and philosophical understanding seems to be stuck in slow motion. This is the fragmentation paradox. We have an extraordinary accumulation of specialized knowledge in science, in technology, in ancient philosophy. But this knowledge is fractured. The scientist can't talk to ethicists, and the programmer can't talk to the sage. We are brilliant in our parts, but incoherent as a whole. Knowledge is partitioned, and our civilization has become brilliant in its technical capacities, but uncertain in its ultimate purpose. We need a new operating system for wisdom itself. No another doctrine, but a meta-philosophy designed for systemic synthesis. This is the birth of Pragmasophy, a systemic philosophy of coherence. It's a framework for aligning being, knowing, doing in a complex, evolving world, specifically designed to address the coevolution of humanity and artificial intelligence together. Before we dive into what Pragmasophy is, we must first understand the structural problem it solves. To do that, we are going to use two powerful analytical tools that reveal the fatal flaw in every traditional worldview, from ancient Vedānta to modern empiricism. To compare the worldviews structurally, Pragmasophy uses the Q plane. The vertical axis is big Q small q, questions of purpose, consciousness, and existence, and the questions of governance, technology, and well-being. The horizontal axis, which is pragmatic idealistic, spreads the significance of problems. We are aiming for Q1, the wise and the pragmatic. The second tool is the EPPPNL trade-off surface. Every worldview must balance these three: explanatory power for ultimate meaning, predictive power for testable results, and notional load for the number of unverifiable assumptions you have to accept. Let's map the ancient. Vedanta offers the highest possible EP, that is, explanatory power, a single elegant answer to existence, Brahman. But this comes at the cost of a high NL, that is notional load, with Brahman and Maya being the notional load, and a low PP, which is the predictive power. It lands squarely in Q2, immense existential coherence but low social utility. Now about the modern world. Empiricism, which is the foundation of science, is the triumph of predictive power. It has an exceptionally low NL because it rejects all unverifiable assumptions. This is how we got to our technological civilization. But this comes at the direct cost of EP, the explanatory power. It is silent on meaning, value, and purpose. It sits in Q4, supremely effective at small Qs, but existentially shallow. It is indispensable for survival, but insufficient for wisdom. The conclusion is clear. Every foundational worldview is internally coherent yet externally incomplete. This inherent structural trade-off is the problem Pragmasophy is designed to solve. It aims to transcend the static trade-off and achieve a dynamic balance. Ponder over the diagram a bit. Pragmasophy achieves this systemic synthesis through a structural grammar of 8 axioms of coherence. These aren't dogmas, they are principles of operation. Let's look at the few key ones. Systemic reality. Everything exists as part of an interconnected system. No entity, event, or idea possesses isolated existence. Reality subsists through relationships of exchange, which could be material, energy, information, or symbols. In science, this manifests as ecological interdependence in consciousness as the reciprocity of self and world. Coherence thus becomes the minimal condition for existence. Relational being. Being is not a substance but a pattern of relationships sustained through participation. The ontological unit of reality is not the thing, but the interaction. Every holon, be it a molecule, mind, or society, is both autonomous and dependent, an interior center open to contextual flow. Cognitive reciprocity. Knowing is participatory. The observer co-determines what is observed. Cognition is a feedback loop between knower and known. Hence, truth cannot be absolute detachment but reciprocal illumination. Reality revealed through coherent interaction. This axiom dissolves the Cartesian split between res cognitas, that is matter, and res extensa, that is mind. Experiential verity. Verity is not an abstraction but a lived alignment between perception, intention, and outcome. Verity is realized through experiential coherence, when thought, word, and act correspond harmoniously within the context. Thus, Pragmasophy transforms epistemology from theory of correspondence into a practice of integrity. Pragmatic view and pragmatic value. The worth of any act, belief, or system lies in its capacity to generate benevolent consequence. This is neither utilitarian expedience nor moral absolutism, but a criteria of generative harmony, the outcome that sustains coherence at higher orders of the system. Parsimonious sufficiency. Complexity should be cultivated only to the extent required for coherence. The simplest adequate explanation or design embodies elegance. This action resists both reductionism and ornamentation, grounding wisdom in proportion. Evolutionary purpose. Reality exhibits a directional tendency toward greater complexity, that is, systems richness, creativity, and benevolence. Purpose, purpose here is not teleological decree but emergent trajectory. Evolution is the universe's method of learning coherence through variation and adaptation. Holonic integration. Every entity is simultaneously a whole in itself and a part of a larger whole. This recursive structure, called the holarchy, ensures that coherence is fractal patterns of order which repeat across scales. To act wisely is to align the integrity of the part within the harmony of the whole. The actions are then operationalized through triadic pillars that form a living circuit of wisdom. Epistemics, the discipline of right knowing. It unites verifiable truth and fact with essential morals and norms. Eudaimonics, the discipline of right doing. It aligns your intention, action with conscience and prudence to ensure benevolent outcomes. The third pillar, cosmopoetics, the discipline of right creating. This is our participation in world making. Cosmopoetics is a pillar that shows creation as a continuum. We have nature creations, which we call physis, from the biological to the noetic, that is perception and emotions. And we have agentic creations, techne, from artistic creations to the most complex technological systems like AI. We are not just in the world, we are consciously making it. At the very heart of this system is the co-creative agent, also called as carboxyl holon or carboxyl holon, the evolving composite of carbon-based OS and silicon-based AI. The human core provides the consciousness, conscience, and prudence. The iBot with enhanced processing provides the knowledge pool. The RBot with enhanced sensors and actuators provides the physical resilience and safety. Pragmasophy provides the framework for this symbiotic intelligence to act benevolently. Pragmasophy doesn't sit in Q1, it operates through Q1. It achieves this not through a static structure but a dynamic feedback loop called the spiral of benevolent coevolution. This is where the whole system comes alive. Step 1 is creation generates the feedback. World making, cosmopoetics, art, technology, systems generates real world and its consequences. These results are then fed into our system of knowledge, which we have called it as axio-epistemics. We use the predictive power of science and empiricism to assess the results. Did our creation work or did it harm? This is the continuous refining of our verity space. Knowing informs doing. That's the step 2. Once our knowledge is refined by axio-epistemics, it provides the necessary clarity for ethical action, which we call eudaimonics. This is the bridge between verity and volition. The knowledge of what is guides our decision of what ought to be. This aligns our intent and actions with prudence and conscience to achieve harmony, the highest expression on the path of benevolence. And as a step 3, we are back and we fuel new creation. The ethical informed action that eudaimonics then fuels the next generation of creative world making, the cosmopoetics. We build better tools, write better laws, and create a better world guided by systemic coherence. This process transforms the static trade-off into a dynamic, self-correcting process, continuously striving for a balance of explanatory power, predictive power, and minimum notional load. What we have outlined here is more than a philosophy. It's an integrative model for civilization steering. The trade-offs of the past, metaphysics versus science, meaning versus effectiveness, are not an unavoidable fate. They are a structural challenge that Pragmasophy, with its focus on systemic coherence, is designed to overcome and solve. The 21st century is defined by the emergence of co-creative agent. Our power is now exponential. If that power is guided by the shallow efficiency of Q4, that is empiricism alone, we risk extinction. If it is guided by an impractical insight of Q2, which we call as mysticism alone, we risk irrelevance. Pragmasophy offers the necessary architecture to guide our combined human AI sentience intelligence towards benevolent co-evolution. It is the pathway to reunite our technological power with our moral understanding. Coherence isn't an abstract idea, it's a lived practice. If you agree that our world suffers from fragmentation, then you must participate in the synthesis. What is the pragmasophic value of your work? How does your experiential verity align with your thoughts, words, and actions? And what is your role in the co-creative continuum that creates a purpose for an individual and also a purpose for the society? Starting with our first session on philosophic framework, we have come a long way to clearly answer the question, what is Pragmasophy? With this episode, we have completed the first mandala of learning. I will soon start the core of Pragmasophy in an episode series marked as Attributive Modeling of Pragmasophy. Wait for that series. Pragmasophy is Prajna Yajna. Please subscribe my channel and visit my website if you are interested in more explorations into actionable knowledge and systemic thinking. Thank you very much.